The internet is the instrument, one of the many instruments. The acceleration of information, the acceleration of market development. But I think there is an historical development and an economical development that those countries could not be outside the system anymore. You know, there have been tremendous political crises in Russia. There was coup d'etat. There was, you know, we were that far from a world war, a third world war. You know, and that's something we don't say enough about Gorbachev. You know, if Gorbachev was a crazy guy like either Stalin or even Putin today, he would have go for the confrontation. Gorbachev was intelligent for everybody. He said, no, let's decrease the tension. And then it was, you know, the country had to open, and this whole bureaucracy that they built just came crumbling down because the system could not survive. So that's the strength of capitalism also. It invaded totally Russia. Now, in Russia, you have the biggest capitalists ever. Those are oligarchy. You know, there's a few people who have, you know, billions and billions, who control everything. So in China, you have also the same development, basically. You still have a very strong, I would say, bureaucratic, centralized system. At the same time, the economy is totally capitalistic. You see the same inequalities about the wealth in very few hands. You have the amount of billionaires in China is absolutely phenomenal.
But isn't it like over 700 million Chinese live in absolute poverty, no electricity, no running water?
Oh yeah, there is poverty. There have been 10, 20 years ago, there were famine in certain corner of the country. Yeah, so you see that capitalists have invaded. That's what Marx have written, the whole planet, because he didn't talk specifically about China or any other country, but he said that's the fundamental tendency of capital. There is no limit, there is no nation, there is no geography. It tends to invade everywhere. That's the strength of that system. But what it says also that we can stop it if we get together. If that's something he inherited from Hegel. Don't forget, Hegel was the greatest philosopher ever. And he started working on the fact that at the time when we had kings, the kings came from God. So he was the representative of God on earth. So whatever he decided was the law. And then Hegel started questioning that. It said, no, it's not the king, it's not God. It's human being who makes history. And Marx took that idea from Hegel and transformed it. So if it's mankind who does history, so mankind can change history. And that's the very important knowledge that Marx brings. So, and to change that, you have to educate yourself. You have to understand the world you're living in and find the right way to change it. And you have to change it in a collective way and in a democratic way. You don't have to kill your neighbor to change it. Marx never said that you should kill anybody. By the way, Marx and Engels and Jenny, they would have been the first to be killed by Stalin. That's for sure. And by the way, the Russian Revolution also killed a lot of important leadership, including somebody like Trotsky, who had to go into exile, although Trotsky also killed a few people. But then when he realized that was not the right way, he left, and they killed him in Mexico. So that type of revolution, you know, at the end, the people who stay are the reckless people, the people who didn't care about killing their own companions, you know. So you need to know that history in order to really make up your mind and understand, you know, in what game you are, you know. Otherwise, you know, you lost because the machine is so strong and you are so lazy, you know. I see it by myself, you know, how to find certain books or to cut out CNN because they are telling me the same thing again and again and again, you need some sort of resistance, you know, because it's so easy to just stay on the internet and say bench watch television series, etc. So where is the space left for your own thoughts?